So I do want to acknowledge and thank our contributor here for their willingness to share this video. We do actually pay a bonus for the fail videos because they frankly are more valuable. Much more items to learn from some of these mistakes and cautions that will be seen than in, say, a test that goes perfectly. If you'd like to know more about contributing possibly your own video and receiving compensation, check the information, details, and links below.
Traffic light, turn right.
Okay.
Traffic light, turn left. Over the speed limit.
Yeah, I'm in 50.
50.
Yep, I'm in 50.
57.
Oh, sorry.
Right here.
Alright, so another hazardous situation here, this time the opposite going too slow in the traffic lane. Remember, we are to be predictable. If there's no reason to slow in the traffic lane, then we should not excessively slow down. Same deduction at this turn, almost a complete stop in the traffic lane. There's no reason for it. Drivers behind you will presume that you're just going to make the turn if there's no reason to slow down, and if you slow excessively, you can actually cause a rear end accident. So rightfully this examiner could turn this student around now and take them back to the facility. This is actually a failed test. another deduction, another hazard. But to the examiner's credit, she does complete the entire road course, giving both the student and us a chance to learn some more as we witness this examination.
Yeah, that's totally fine. It has to be in 0. Yeah.
Next traffic stop, reverse.
Okay.
It's 50. Other traffic stop, traffic stop, reverse.
Now, some may criticize the deduction for signaling too early, but it is absolutely a hazard. If there were a car trying to enter the roadway, they may presume that you were turning into one of those other right-hand turns. So signaling too early is absolutely a hazard, and it is a deduction on the driving test. Now, something we can't actually see because of the forward-facing camera view is the student checking or not checking blind spots. You will recall at the beginning of the test, the examiner's tips. She talked about not only checking blind spots when you change lanes, but also when you are turning right and left. And this is a great tip and just a great advice for defensive driving. You never know what a pedestrian or another car might be doing, and it's always good practice to check over that shoulder of where you're turning into and where you're turning onto before you actually commit to that turn. As a veteran driver, I have saved my vehicle and self numerous times on a turn because another driver was trying to run a light or wasn't paying attention. always check blind spots when making left-right turns and lane changes.
75% to God, right? 75% to God, 75.
Make it load up. Sorry,
Yeah. Am I doing good or bad? Okay, okay.
So my hunch on this signaling early business is this is part of the nervous energy. You know, we hear the instruction turn right and we want to take some sort of action. So resist the temptation to signal early by maybe checking all your mirrors. You are preparing for a right-hand turn. And so if you do have that nervous energy, a great habit would be to scan mirrors. So convert that nervous energy into a mirror scan, say, or checking your blind spots or surrounding. So with all this early signaling, the question comes up, so when should we signal? Typically in city and residential driving, we're talking about 100 feet prior to the turn. For signaling, if you were in Canada, I think they say 30 meters in town.
Traffic light, turn right.
Oh, at the top, sorry.
Turn right, and at the opposite.
Okay.
So with all the criticism, let's give some credit here. That was actually a pretty good sequence of lane changing. Student allowed the signal to work for a few moments and then changed not only once but two different lanes. Mistakenly thought he was turning back into the DMV there, but corrected well. So that was a great sequence of lane changing and recovering from a little bit of confusion. As with all driving tests, just because we're entering the DMV parking lot, that does not mean the test is over. Be defensive. And for this test, they actually have you finish the test with a reverse park. So the last maneuver on this test is to back this car into a parking stall, which is, I think, a pretty cool way to finish the exam, and a pretty good skill to demonstrate. vicariously, you're going to see that car in front there doing the same maneuver. They must be finishing a driving test as well. So let's stick around as this exam ends, because the examiner goes through lots of information to help this student better prepare for the next test that they're going to be taking.
I explain first the parking. Put signal turn
Sorry.
stay straight on the lane. You do that. Check around before you move.
No, I'll check.
Yes, because you remove a little bit. Check before
Okay,
you
okay.
move. And after, check back side. Turn more. Check there. Okay? Because when you reverse, you check there. And check back side. There. Okay. Here, you stop here. Stop. Check around. You can fix if it's necessary. You can catch it and continue to check back side. Okay. I explain you here when we start. Yeah. Stop. You turn right. When you check your this while scanning, check your side, because the car comes here. You don't have the flasher, and you check and you start, but you have the priority.
Okay.
You turn here, but when we check first time, we don't have the signal turn. You make full stop and check back, because if you start and you don't have the stop and you go straight,
Okay.
it's dangerous. Okay? Okay, make a full stop. Sometimes you're too fast. Make full stop, 0. When you turn right here, you don't have the stop. Don't go under 20 kilometers. Okay? Because sometimes you make a stop, but you don't have the stop. If you don't have the stop, 20. Don't go over or under 20. Maybe sometimes it's a little fast. Depends. Adjust. If rain, snow, it's too fast. Under 20, maybe 15, 10. It depends. If you turn left, if you don't have the car here, because you don't have the priority, you don't have the stop, it's the same thing. You do the speed before scanning and turn. Okay. When you change the lane on the left side, one time you change on the left side, okay, your blind side is too late. We begin to change, and the blind side, you check in the mirror, move up, blind side, too late. The blind side is before you maneuver. It's the same thing when you stop. When you stop and you turn right, the blind side is before you turn. Okay? Sometimes you have a pedestrian there, bicycle. If you turn left, before you turn, you change the blind side. Sometimes you have a car here, a bicycle and pedestrian there, before you turn, before you move. Okay, and respect the speed limits. Time we go over the speed
In order to
quickly.
cross the car, you have to take.
Yes, but at this place we go 70. Because when we move, when we change the lane, we go 70. So be careful the speed limit here. If you go, if the car is too near, go after